as your elders, together with you young people, I do know that with your intelligence and your energy, and we work together, a little bit of wisdom from us, we got this. The most powerful, richest continent on earth can no longer continue to be treated like 10th class citizens. We have to get off the position of feeling inferior or being told we're not good. We have to stop being afraid. When I was in Washington and I traveled, it was sickening to see how scared our ministers would be sometimes. How scared the ambassadors were at times. What are you afraid of? These are other men that go to the bathroom and take off their pants just like you do.
Yes, welcome brothers and sisters to Make Africa Great. This time have another epic and powerful message from Africa, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao. Dr. Arikana has spoken a conscious message to Africans, especially to our leaders, what they can do to liberate this continent economically. My dear lovely family, join with me in this epic video where we are going to hear the truth from Africa, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao. Please do not skip the video. Watch this video from the beginning to the end. Help us to like the video and share this message to many Africans as you can. So, brothers and sisters, welcome. And this is a powerful and epic message from Africa.
Well, you don't even know there's something called Pan-Africanism. We are just in La La Land. The choice is yours. Healing yourself from the legacy of colonization is not going to be easy. You did not get to be of this mindset overnight. You are under some spell. You know, I'm here with my vice president of my organization, Damian Cook. He always talks about, Ambassador, it's like a computer software. It's always running in the background. We have that program running in our background. But until you realize that that program is there, and you gotta get rid of it, it will always, and I mean always, control everything that you do. So even when you become the CEO of a big Fortune 500 company, when you go to that boardroom, garbage in, garbage out. You must understand that as black people, we are under siege. The reason our incapability of being able to deal with issues like other nations do in a common sense leadership way, common sense governance, is because we were defeated where it matters the most, which is the mind. And until the mind heals, you see, as a medical doctor, I can't help you unless if you realize you're sick and you come to see me. So until you realize and accept that you are sick, you will not get the healing that you must. Oh, showtime again.
Yes, let me pause a little bit. You know, Africa, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao is referring a meeting that President Donald Trump met with President of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. And of course, this was shocking. When Africans were told that you see these things happening to your country, President Ramaphosa answering nothing, and even himself, he was shocked. And that's the game that Africa is saying, because you know, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Arikana Chihombori-Quao, or Africa, has been an ambassador of African Union to the United States of America, so she knows very well the tactic and technique that are being used by these people, so to make sure that they undermine and they make sure that you lose your confidence. So it's true that President Ramaphosa were not well prepared when he met with President Trump, because if you're familiar with what happened there, you can understand what Africa she's saying. But let us continue with Arikana Chihombori-Quao, then I will come to you back. Please do not skip the video. Watch this video from the beginning, as I said, and from here and till the end, so that you can have something to share if you have or if you think there's an important message to share with us, you may do so through the comment section. So do not skip, watch this video till the end.
Are you sure you're the president of this country? Round 1, US. Oh, showtime again. Another photograph. Men in body bags being hauled away. Mr. President, those are white people in South Africa who have been killed by black people. What do you have to say to that? Instead of saying, even his own people, AI, take a shot of the picture. AI will tell you where that picture came from. But instead of saying, Mr. President, if there were that many white people being killed in my country, I would know. That is not my country. Somebody's lying to. Once again, I've never seen that. I'll have to look into it. Round 2, US. So he thought, maybe I have a white Minister of Agriculture. Let me turn it over to him. Maybe he can rescue me out of this. The white Minister of Agriculture, instead of saying, Mr. President, I am a white man, I can tell you categorically there is no white genocide in South Africa. We are undergoing land reform based on the Constitution. No one is killing white people in South Africa. What did he say instead? Yes, Mr. President, we have a problem. We need help. Round 3, US. Are we going to be going to the United States? Are we going to be negotiating with other nations and getting our rear ends kicked left, right, and center? Why? Because we're not prepared. President Trump flipped the script on them and he went gangster. When he went gangster, they should have gone gangbusters. This was a fist fight that turned into a boxing fight. And the boxing fight, when it goes on to become a warfare, do you have your boxing gloves of knowledge? Should the boxing gloves be called for? Do you have your bazooka of knowledge? Should that knowledge be called for? Do you have your banga buster of knowledge? Because conversations are going to escalate. Negotiations are not a straight line. They give you this, you should be ready with many other positions. They say this, I say that. They say this, I say that. This is our game plan. This is what we're going to accept. From here to here, below this, we're packing our bags and we're going home. The United States is not the only country to trade with. So why should African leaders go to the United States looking like beggars? And also we must demand that President Trump must also come to Africa. It's not a one-way street that all the African heads of state should be streaming to the United States. He too must come to Africa. But are we even demanding that? I'm getting a lot of grief sometimes when I talk about President Trump and dismantling USAID. Africans are saying, but Ambassador, we were getting aid and they were helping us. Really? Do you understand what a gift it is to Africa? When President Trump pulled USAID, a lot of the nefarious activities were being carried out through USAID. When President Trump says, let's get rid of the United Nations, hey, now you're talking. When he says, let's get rid of WTO, let's get rid of World Health Organization, now we are talking. Let's not get caught up in the bravado. Let's not jump on the bandwagon. There is a whole lot going on the world stage. Let's cherry pick that which works for us. And as far as dismantling of those institutions which were created after the Second World War, let's sit back and enjoy the show. They all must be dismantled and new ones must be created that are more responsive, truly representative of the global community, not just a few countries. So yes, there are domestic issues they have to deal with in the US. But for those of you out here, look to the global issues. What works for you and what does not work for you. The moment we're in is a new game, which is calling for new rules of engagement. If this was a basketball game, I will be asking the African leaders to call for timeout. They need to go to the sidelines and re-strategize. It's a new game that's calling for new rules of engagement. And this is where you young people come in. Back in the 1950s and 60s, as African countries were getting their independence, so to speak, from the colonizers, some countries had it a little easy. They didn't have to fight. But there are many others like Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, Algeria, many others. They had to fight. And I remember as a young woman, 15 years of age at a boarding school, every morning would wake up and, 2 boys have disappeared. Young men, some as young as 14. They understood that there was something terribly wrong going on in their countries. I'm talking apartheid. So at a young, tender age, they gave it all up. They risked their own lives. They knew if I walked in this direction, I shall run into a country called Mozambique. They are sympathetic to my cause. I shall go learn how to fight, come back with a gun and fight to the bitter end for what I believe in. So it is. Many young men left. They joined the guerrilla warfare. I still remember as a young person we were thinking defeating Ian Smith in Zimbabwe was mission impossible. Ian Smith himself would boom in the radio and television. Zimbabwe, Rhodesia at that time, will never see black rule, not in his lifetime, not in a million years. The mountain was too steep to climb. But that did not deter those young men and women who believed in what can be done when we come together with one purpose, one mission in mind, and work in a selfless manner, do or die. But that wrong had to be righted. It is that spirit that gave us the independent nations that we see today. They gave us political liberation. What we never received was economic liberation. And now, that ball is in your court. You can't expect those who gave us political liberation to also give us economic liberation. What sacrifices are you ready to make to deliver economic liberation for Africa? In your case, you no longer have to risk your life. You no longer have to carry a gun. You just have to be smart. You just have to heal yourself from the legacy of colonization. You guys have to rid yourself, if you are across the waters, you got to rid yourself of the legacy of slavery. So when that NGO comes to you, wants to give you trinkets so you can go to America, give you trinkets so you can go to Europe, well, you know what? If you have to go, go, but don't lose your head. Know who you are. Know where home is. Refuse to be used as an instrument of your own self-destruction. That is the biggest problem we have in Africa today. You have people who are in government as we speak, who are on payrolls of foreign nations. Why are you betraying your country to this degree? The ball is in our court. As your elders, together with you young people, I do know that with your intelligence and your energy, and we work together, a little bit of wisdom from us, we got this. The most powerful, richest continent on earth can no longer continue to be treated like 10th class citizens. We have to get off the position of feeling inferior or being told we're not good. We have to stop being afraid. When I was in Washington and I traveled, it was sickening to see how scared our ministers would be sometimes. How scared the ambassadors were at times. What are you afraid of? These are other men that go to the bathroom and take off their pants just like you do. What are you afraid of? Why can't you look them in the face and tell them like it is? When they are out of line, call them out. You should never be intimidated because you know where you come from. I had a young man who was kind of dark in complexion. He came home and told his mother, he said, "Mom, my friends are laughing at me. They said they don't see me coming until I smile or open my eyes." So the mother was with her aunt, and she said, "Oh, do you know they are very jealous of you?" I said, "First of all, you are that color because you are well done. You are done well. Secondly, you have something called melanin. They don't have it. They're so jealous of you because they want to have it, but they don't have it. That's why they go to the sunning bed to try and get some melanin. You don't have to because yours is natural. They're jealous of you." So it is that young people, our work is in our hands. It's not going to be easy. Reclaiming our economic liberation. If I may leave you with one word, I'm asking all of you to have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror. Because the healing that we desire starts with the mind. For that is where we were destroyed the most. I have 3 quotes to leave with you. The day will come when history will speak. Africa will write its own history. It will be a history of glory and dignity. This was Patrice Lumumba. Coming from the Caribbean, Marcus Garvey said, "A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." And finally, our own Kwame Nkrumah said, "A state in the grip of neocolonization is not master of its own destiny. It is this factor which makes neocolonialism such a serious threat to world peace and African development." Yesterday, you heard Professor Lumumba remind you that you are a chicken that was raised like an eagle. Now the moment has come. You've been given an opportunity to rise. You are an eagle. Rise up, get up and fly. We know it's going to be a tall order. We know the mountain is going to be high. Birds sing not because they can, they sing because they have a song. As Africans, let's come together and give the world the best melody the world has ever seen. The world that says, down with corruption, down with exploitation of Africa, down with imperialism, down with neocolonization. The mountain is high. Let's sing and go to the tallest mountain and let the world know who we are. The proud, the beautiful, the intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, totally indestructible Africans. Rise, eagles, rise. You need. So when President Trump calls you to come to Washington to discuss trade, who is going to meet with President Trump? What mindset are you taking with you? Do you understand what's at stake? How much appreciation do you have of the geopolitics and how that geopolitics fits into your agenda? Your agenda as a nation, your agenda as the regional bloc, and your agenda as the African continent. Do you have your facts together? Do you understand what it takes? Are you well prepared? Because when you go to the negotiating table at any level, look at that negotiating table as a battlefield. It is a war that must be won. President Ramaphosa went to Washington totally unprepared. And they got drummed on. You know, when I was still at the AU, see, the Americans have, you got to realize that what we do is a game. This world that we live in is a game. You got to realize, is this checkers or is this chase? You see, you can't send your checkers players to participate in a game of chess. You got to realize every day of our existence, we are playing games from one place to another, different levels, but life is a game, and you must play to win. So it is. I would watch the Americans, and I started sharing with others. We have a meeting, okay, they're coming in, and usually there's a reception before finally we go inside. Look at the way the Americans arrive. We're meeting one person. 5, 6 SUVs pull up. But the way they pull up, they don't just drive slowly coming to a stop. When you see those cars coming, they don't look like they're going to stop. All of them, they're just coming. And the way they come out, those people opening the doors, they don't just get out of the cars. They jump out of the cars and the doors are swinging, bang, 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 bang. And the people coming out are jumping out and they're walking over there and they're shaking your hand. That's all part of the intimidation. Are you with me? It's a game. They break you down before the meeting even begins. Can we not do that too? Yes, we can. But we won't go in passive. President Ramaphosa, Mr. President, do you know the game that we played? Without noticing it, they go into that Oval Office, lights out, television on, showtime. Mr. President, there are all these crosses. White people being killed by black people in South Africa. What do you have to say to that? Mr. President should have said, if there were that many white people being killed in my country, I would know. Mr. President, I can tell you categorically, that is not my country. But instead, what did he say? Well, I'm going to have to look into that. Mr. President, all those people have died in your country and you don't know.
Yes, welcome back, family. Let me conclude this epic speech of Mama Africa. Of course, she's spoken many things, but all in all, the issue that she's spoken is the issue of Africans to have a knowledge on what we are doing. When we are going to discuss or to negotiate with other civilizations, we need to have a common knowledge or to have a knowledge that will help us to compete through ideas. But if you listen what she said, it looks like Africans in many ways we are not well prepared. We are not conscious, understanding the real situation, and not well prepared to whom we are going to negotiate. Yes, I can agree, because if you look many of our contracts, mining contracts, minerals contracts, and whatever, something like that, some agreements, you find that Africans always we are being defeated. Why? Because we are not well prepared. We don't have agendas. So, for instance, as Mama Africa said, the issue of South Africa. You saw when Trump invited President Ramaphosa, he's already prepared. You know what he's going to speak. And that's why they have already prepared a video clip, and pictures that if Ramaphosa will come, we will confront him through these evidences or through this reality, and we defeat him. That's what's happening. So even in contract, you may ask sometimes, and you may wonder that, how is it possible that Africa, we have these resources, but you find that in some agreements, Africans benefit 1%. This is our minerals, our resources. How is it possible that we benefit 1%? It's because of understanding. We are not well organized. We don't understand some issues, maybe knowledge. Our minds still believing that white people are best, are good than us. So I think the time has come to liberate ourselves from the shackle of the colonial mind. We need to make sure that we energize ourselves to learn the truth and to teach each other the reality. So, and this can be happen if we can revolutionize our curriculums. You know, we can speak men as we can speak all days, all years, but if we cannot liberate our minds, if we cannot change what we teach in schools to our young men and women, nothing will change. Knowledge is a weapon. So the only weapon of oppressor is the mind of oppressed. So our minds are still under controls. So we need to make sure that Africans will revolutionize our curriculums. We start teaching our people self-confidence, believing in ourselves, and trusting in themselves. You know, it will be difficult because many things that we use in the continent of Africa are coming from outside. We have nothing. So if you look at the Chinese, you say, these are the people who are created these machines, excavators and machine and big machines. These people are very clever. You feel inferior yourself. If you meet Europeans, the same. You start thinking about what they have made before. These are people who have good knowledge, so I cannot compete with them. Even they have nothing in their heads, but because they have done something before, that's why they create fear on us. So I think, as Mama Africa said, we need to liberate ourselves, our minds, from colonial legacy of mindset. So we need to change the way we think. We need to revolutionize our curriculums, teaching our children the truth, the true history, teaching about our heroes. Few days I have been suggested that to those who are writing history book, those who are writing some stories, those who are creating movies, they have to start writing and creating movies about Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Because if we are not careful, Traoré will go and no one will remember him. Other people will come and tell different stories about Captain Ibrahim Traoré. We have seen, let me ask you one thing. Who is remembering right now the late president of Tanzania, John Pombe Magufuli? Magufuli, when he came to power, he revolutionized many things. But when he died, no one right now is talking about Magufuli. And that's how Africa we are. No one is talking about Magufuli. What we see right now in Burkina Faso have already happened in Tanzania. Magufuli came to power, built infrastructures, changed systems, politicians. He reduced their salaries. The same thing that's happening to Burkina Faso right now. Magufuli, when he came to power, fight for corruption. You remember what happened during pandemic, what he did. He rejected lockdowns. That was Magufuli. He built electric railway, hydroelectric dams, infrastructures, roads, and many other things. Free education. But today, who is talking about Magufuli? Tell me African youth who are discussing and see that Magufuli like the model of our development. He did a lot of things, but because we are not writing our own stories, our stories are being written by others or written by others. Today we have forgotten Magufuli. Not only him, many of our heroes, even Sankara himself that we have been talking many times, Kwame Nkrumah. If you go deep, how many books of Kwame Nkrumah are being studied in Africa? Nothing. How many books about Thomas Isidore Sankara are being studied in Africa? Few. How many books or stories about Nnamdi Azikiwe? But we read the story of others. So we need to revolutionize our curriculums so that we can change our minds. If we can do so, my dear lovely family, it's my hope Africa can go into negotiation table with actually good knowledge, with good understanding, and it's my hope that Africa can move into right direction. But without doing so, we'll continue to be defeated. What Mama Arikana Chihombori-Quao, she's saying, Africa, we are always defeated on the table. We have been invited, but what are we offering is nothing. A few days ago, some African leaders were invited. 5 African leaders were in New York, White House. They met with President Donald Trump. What they have discussed there is about inviting America to invest in their natural resources. You see? So we go out there with the minds that others are responsible for investing in your natural resources. But what Trump said to them, they said, you are, of course, he spoken to the president of Liberia, that your English is so good. And also, they spoken about the issue of Peace Nobel Prize. But is it the thing that Africans, these are the things that Africans we need to know or we need to concentrate? No. But you can see, look, for instance, America bring together Rwanda and Congo. I think this should be done by East African community and also SADC. Why we need external powers, other people, to solve our challenges? So I think there's something that we lack as Africans. We lack knowledge, of course. We have to appreciate it, to agree that we lack knowledge. We need people who can induce knowledge to us, like people like Mama Arikana, Professor Cyril Ramaphosa, and others. We need to make sure that we share knowledge so that we can become strong and believe in yourself. Right now, if we go out to negotiate, we are always defeated because of lack of knowledge and understanding. So, family, friends, after that, let us say thank you for being with me. Thank you for being part of this movement. Thank you for joining this family, the big family of making Africa great. So if you have anything to share, please do so through the comment section, and also help us to like this video and to share the video to other Africans so that they can have this message, or they can have this message and understand what is going on in our beautiful continent Africa. After that, I have no more to share, my dear lovely family. Thank you for being with me. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, freedom. Thank you, Africa.